Homemade pita bread is a delightful addition to any meal, and it's surprisingly easy to make. With just a few simple ingredients and a little time, you can create soft, fluffy pita bread that pairs perfectly with dips, sandwiches, or just on its own. I love the aroma that fills my kitchen when they're baking, and the taste is far superior to store-bought options. If you've never tried making pita at home, you might be surprised at how rewarding it is. The process is straightforward, and the result is a delicious, warm bread that can elevate any dish. I'll walk you through each step, sharing tips and tricks to ensure that your pita comes out perfect every time. Get ready to impress your family and friends with this homemade version that's not only fresh but also customizable. Once you taste that first warm pocket, you might just find yourself making it a regular part of your cooking routine. To make homemade pita bread, I gather the following ingredients. 1 package of active dry yeast, which is about 1/4 ounce, 1 cup of warm water, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 3/4 teaspoons of salt, 1½ tablespoons of olive oil, and an additional 1 cup of all-purpose flour. These ingredients come together to create delicious, fluffy pita. It's satisfying to know I control what goes into my bread. Each item plays a role in achieving that perfect texture and flavor. I start by mixing yeast with warm water in my stand mixer bowl. I add a cup of flour and whisk it together. Then, I set it aside for about 15 to 20 minutes until it bubbles and foams. Once the yeast mixture is ready, I add olive oil and more flour. I also sprinkle in some salt, then I mix everything until it forms a smooth dough. If it's too sticky, I add a little more flour until it feels soft and supple. Next, I knead the dough on low speed for 5 to 6 minutes. It should feel slightly springy. I then turn it out onto a floured surface and shape it into a ball. I lightly coat the inside of the bowl with olive oil and place the dough back in. I cover it with foil and let it rise for about 2 hours until it doubles in size. After that, I gently pat the dough into a flat shape, about 1 inch thick. I cut it into 8 equal pieces. Each piece gets rolled into a small ball, making sure it's smooth on top. I cover these with lightly oiled plastic wrap and let them rest for 30 minutes. When ready, I dust the balls with flour and pat them into thin rounds, roughly 1/4 inch thick. I let them sit for another 5 minutes. I heat olive oil in a cast iron skillet over medium-high heat. I cook each round until it puffs up and has brown spots, about 2 minutes on one side, then I flip it for 30 more seconds. They turn fluffy and delicious. Finally, I stack the cooked pita on a plate to cool. Once they are ready, I slice them open to reveal a perfect pocket for stuffing. Enjoying my homemade pita bread is a real treat. To keep homemade pita bread fresh, I recommend storing them in a zip-top bag or an airtight container. This helps maintain their softness. If you're planning to enjoy them within a few days, I simply leave them at room temperature. Just be sure to keep them away from direct sunlight. For longer storage, freezing is a great option. Here's how I do it. First, allow the pita bread to cool completely. Then, wrap each pita individually in plastic wrap. Finally, place the wrapped pitas in a freezer-safe bag or container. This method prevents freezer burn and keeps them tasting fresh. When I'm ready to enjoy a pita, I take it out and let it thaw at room temperature. For a warm pita, I often pop it in the oven for a few minutes. Storage tips: room temperature 3 to 5 days in a bag or container. I like to label my freezer bags with the date so I know when I made them. It helps me use them while they're still at their best. Making homemade pita bread can be a rewarding experience, but it does come with its challenges. Pita not rising. Sometimes the pita doesn't inflate properly during baking. Solution: ensure your yeast is fresh and active. I always proof it in warm water with a bit of sugar to check if it bubbles up. Tough texture. The challenge is that pita can turn out tough rather than soft and pliable. Solution: be careful not to over-knead the dough. I find that a gentle hand works best. Also make sure to use enough water. Dryness. The challenge is that my pita can end up dry and crumbly. I keep an eye on the baking time. Baking for just the right amount ensures they stay moist. A quick cover with a towel after baking also helps. Pitas can be uneven, resulting in some being thicker than others. I like to roll the dough into balls first to ensure they are similar in size. A consistent rolling technique makes a big difference. These tips have helped me create more consistent and delicious pita bread. Happy baking! Making homemade pita bread has been a rewarding experience for me. The process is simple and the results are delicious. I enjoy customizing my pita with various flavors. Experimenting with herbs or spices can really enhance the taste. Here's a quick recap of the key steps I follow. First, mix the flour, yeast, salt, and water. Next, knead the dough until it's smooth. Finally, let it rest and rise for about an hour. Next, we shape the dough. You'll want to divide it and then, well, roll it into nice even rounds. Cook the pita by baking it in a hot oven or on a skillet. The texture of freshly made pita is truly delightful. It's soft, warm, and perfect for filling with dips or sandwiches. I love how versatile pita bread can be, perfect for meals or snacks. Sharing it with friends and family makes it even more special. Homemade pita is a delightful addition to any meal, and I highly recommend giving it a